Hey guys, it's Morgan and Zach, who's definitely pretty upset right now because he's fiddling with the bike not on his lift, which is generally something that will fire a mechanic up that he's having to work on the thing on the ground. But actually, all totally joking. We just got done doing a whole bunch of work to that DR650, new tires, put tubeless on the front, which but for a dual sport, I guess I don't mind it that much. But then we're deleting the kickstand switch, so that's what he's doing right now, is he tie those wires together. But yeah, welcome to the Shlog. It's our weekly vlog here at Highland Cycles where we go over what we do. And sadly, we have a compressor that makes a bunch of which is crazy. But anyway, yeah. Western Colorado. We've got a little motorcycle shop called Highland Cycles, and we just bring you guys along with the week and show you what we do. So let's get on with the Shlog. Guys, so first thing on my lift is this little KX85. We got a flat front tire, which is whatever, but then we got a leaky carburetor is the biggest thing. So I think we just need to clean it. I do have a kit coming, but the kit's not here yet, and this gentleman really wants to have it back really soon. So he's got a camping trip that kind of snuck up on him. He forgot about it. Anyway, so I'm going to try to just clean it and get it to quit leaking, and then we'll move. So I'll show you how we clean a carburetor. So I may have found the problem, and it may not be the carburetor leaking at all, which would be good for him and for me. We won't have to wait for the kit, and we can just have the kit in stock for anything like that. So let's take a look here at what we're finding. So get in here. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Get out of here! No! Go away! I hate you!
I hate you more. So in the last Shlog, you guys said, let's bring the fights. Although one of you guys said, let's skip the hate drama, which, whatever, man.
It sucks!
There it is! It does not suck! Our hate is real. Anyway, the guy who said that, it's just for fun. Anyway, whatever. So, anyway, let's take a look in here. So you can see the hose doesn't look good. And then when we turn the gas on, it just comes right out where it's connected. So I don't think the carburetor's leaking at all. I'm just going to take this hose off, get a new hose, new clamp, get it all back on there, and see. I think we're going to be good to go, which is awesome for this customer. We save him some money, save him some time, and then we'll just fix his front tire. So that's way cool. But I'm going to pull this off, put it out, get the new one on there, and I'll check back in and make sure we're good. All right, so I put a new hose on there, and lo and behold, it doesn't leak. So that is rad. I'm super excited about that. He's going to be really happy to know that he didn't need a carburetor clean. And yeah, that's awesome. Really happy about that. Now I'm going to fix the front tire, and we'll get on to the next job. Alright guys, next thing on my lift is this lovely little TC85, and it is here for a top end and repacking the muffler. Just a preventative maintenance stop in on this one. This is owned by one Bella Enda, who does a lot of racing and hammers down on this thing, so we're just going to keep it fresh for her for the seasons coming up. And like I said, repack the silencer so quiets that thing down, runs right, and all that good stuff. And check out the motorcycle on Mr. Cheese's lift. It is one of the unicorns out there for a lot of people. It's an FE350 from Husaberg. Back when KTM took over Husaberg and they started building this crazy 70-degree motor, which It was pretty weird. And the reason they did that was to try to get the rotational mass closer to the center of the bike. I call it the geographic center of the bike because you take the whole thing, you know, wheels, forks, whatever thing. There's a center point, right? And they tried to get the crank and all the rotational stuff closer to that, which then made the bike feel lighter when it was rolling. A lot of people swear by them. Also, they were fuel injected back before really anybody else had fuel injection, and they worked pretty good. They had a few little problems on the fuel injection, mainly with just I saw some fuel injectors get clogged and a couple other things, but generally they ran really good. And they had this crazy plastic subframe back before the new Husky style. And anyway, a lot of innovation on that bike. And Zach is doing fork seals on it and throwing things generally mostly in my direction. And I've been dodging them well, which is good. So, all right, let's get to work here, guys. So guys, one of the things I love about Austrian built two-strokes is that they are a case inducted motor, meaning that the carburetor goes right into the cases. And what that does, it changes the way that they induct the fuel in there and all that, but practically what it does is it makes it way easier to do top ends on them because you don't even have to take the carburetor off. So it just makes the whole process infinitely easier. So next thing we're going to do is get these hoses off, drain the coolant out of it, and then we'll take the head off and take a look inside. All right, so we got all the coolant hoses off, got all the coolant drained out. Now, actually, the next thing we need to do is unhook the power valve. So, also, I want to take this time right now to do the tool spotlight for this Shlog, and it's this beautiful little 1/4-inch ratchet that has a flex or swivel head. This thing, I love these things. I own 2 mini flex head or swivel head ratchets, but they are so awesome. Let me show you why. So, as you're undoing something here, you break it loose and then you just swivel it and it makes things go so much faster, and I absolutely love them. Like I said, I have 2 1/4 inches and probably 3 3/8. So that's the tool spotlight for this week, guys. I know I haven't been on top of that doing the tool spotlights, but I'm going to try to get back at it. But yeah, so get this cover off here and we'll check in. I'll show you how we unhook that power valve. Alright, so it's 85, has a power valve. It's just like the bigger bikes. Well, the power valve's not exactly like, but the mechanism is. So this is our actuator rod that goes up and down as the RPMs go up and down. And it's got this little pin that we need to come out like this. There we go. There we go. We'll set it down here in a safe spot so we don't lose it. Then we just pop that off. Now we can get the gasket out of the way, and now we can move that power valve, make sure it's moving nice and smooth, which it is. And then we're gonna take the head off, get it out of the way, and then we'll slide the cylinder off. So we need 8 mil for up there. All right, so let's take our head off. Look in there. Looks like it's actually burning really good. Really happy with the way that looks. Feel like we got the jetting right on the money, and she's been staying on the gas, which is good. So now we need a 10mm wrench, break all these base nuts loose, and we'll pull that off and take a look at that cylinder. Alright guys, so we got the base nuts all off. Now we gotta take this. So this, just so you guys know, not everybody does, this is a power valve vent, because if you don't vent this area, you'll build up pressure and it'll blow seals and stuff like that. It won't it's not the end of the world, but it's not awesome. So anyway, now we got her loose. We're gonna come up nice and easy. There we go. Take this over to the bench and take a look inside there. I think it's gonna look really, really good. All right, guys, so we got her over here. Upon inspection, it looks really, really good. Even the power valve is pretty stinking clean. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way this looks. So we're gonna just clean this up, probably splash a ball hone through it, put a crosshatch back in it, and reinstall it. I'm not even gonna mess with the power valve. This bike doesn't have very many hours on it. Let's see. So bike's got 50 hours on it and been very well maintained. Air filter obviously been super clean. So it looks good. We're just gonna go with it this way, and we actually help this girl out. So we're like, as far as sponsorship goes, so we're just gonna put a piston in it, new gaskets and everything like that this time, and the next time around we'll take the power valve all apart. But yeah, it's all working great. It's been running really good for us. So I'm gonna clean this thing up, and then we'll grab our parts and put it back together. All right, guys, so I got the cylinder cleaned up, but I am not putting that back together yet because the gasket kit I had is not the right one. I had a piston and gasket set from an older 85 that I ordered. Anyway, whatever. I was hoping it'd be the same. I should have probably checked. I didn't check. But anyway, they're not in a hurry on the bike, so that's no big deal. So I ordered the parts. Should be here tomorrow, actually. Because if you guys don't know, if you're a dealer or you're thinking about being a dealer, Takaraki now has a super cool program where I think you pay like 400 bucks in yearly, and then you can have free overnight freight as long as the part costs more than 50 bucks. So yeah, so we should have the part here tomorrow. So anyway, I leave the rag in that thing covered up, all happy and shiny and away from the world up here on the lift until tomorrow. But while we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and repack the silencer. I wish you guys could feel this. It's definitely heavy with oil. So we're gonna take it apart first, then we'll clean it and put it back together. Show you guys how we do this. It's super simple. These bolts come out. This is one of those things that people just honestly don't generally do enough. It's a really simple, easy little thing to do for maintenance, and it helps keep the bike cleaner, because part of why bikes start to drool like this is because the packing just gets saturated and eventually has to run out somewhere. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I should be on the gas more, and you know, maybe that's true also, but it's, you know, you can only be on the gas so much when you're riding the rocks and things like that. These are hard to get apart sometimes. That actually came apart really easily, but now, there we go. So, yeah, it actually doesn't look that bad, but like I said, it's starting to drool a lot, and they're doing the right thing. So by keeping it nice and clean and repacked, also helps keep the bike sounding a lot better. So, all right, I'm gonna chuck this, and then we'll take all this over to the parts washer, clean it up really good, and then I'll come back and show you how we repack it. All right, so we got the parts washer, or got this over to the parts washer, got it all cleaned up. The key to this being clean enough is all the holes being open, because that's the sound is coming from this end through, and the exhaust is coming out, and you want it to be baffled out into the packing. So it's important to have that clean. And they are all clean. You can see through all of them, but there's a little buildup in there. So the most fun way to do this is get the blue wrench, and you're just gonna burn it off of there. right, we're gonna let that cool off. Then we'll come back and we'll just kind of bang it on the tray, and all that extra carbon will fall out, then we'll repack it. All right, it's cooled off enough to hold with a towel. Watch this. That is what we're getting out of there. So that is looking really good. Then we take our air, blow it out even more. And there we go. Looks really, really nice and clean, like it should, and really doesn't take that long, guys. So when you're repacking a muffler, it's worth the time to just get the torch out, cook it all off of there, and get it done. So the next time you do it, it will be the same. If you just keep doing this and letting it build up, it turns into a nightmare. You can still get it off with the torch, but it just takes a lot longer. It makes a bigger mess. So, all right, let's get some packing. So I like the FMF two-stroke packing. It's all fine though. It doesn't really matter. This is for any two-stroke silencer, so we need to cut it down to the right size. And there's the end of it there. This isn't the best, so I like to overlap it onto here because we want to tuck it up inside there. And then we're going to cut it at the length of that, and it doesn't have to be exact. In fact, I cut it a little bit long. Razor blade works good. There we go. Now I'm going to take it, get that out of the way. Now I'm going to take it and we're going to tuck it up in there. Really make sure you tuck that in there, and then we're just going to wrap it around, making sure we keep tucking end up into this piece, whatever you call that, I don't know, cup. Get it up in there. Now, it's too long, that's okay. Important part of this whole thing, a little bit of electrical tape. And the reason I do this is this makes it way easier to slide in. So take our electrical tape. I'm just going to start here. I'm just going to go around. You don't want to do it too tight. Like that right there. So I like to hold on to the tape to pull it off, and then just ease it around. Because if you make it too tight, it doesn't hurt anything, but it will shorten the life of the packing because it'll basically cram it too tight. It'll fill up faster. Anyway, so there we go. All right. So now, you need to find the end. There we go. So, and it doesn't really matter how much you bunch this thing up because it'll find its own, home. So now we got our can. It's all dry. And come in here and we're going to slide it in. And see how that tape helped hold it in there. So before you go ahead and push this all the way on, you want to take a little bit of silicone around here just to keep it from the drool from leaking out right here. You just need a little bit. So now, like I said, we're gonna line up the end where it needs to go here. And once that's lined up inside there, you can just push that together. Take our bolts. And like everything that has multiple bolts that go into holes that need to line up, don't tighten any of them down until you get them all started, because you'll inevitably need to wiggle up just a little bit. So get them all started. There we go. Silencer's repacked, ready to rock and roll. Now we're just waiting on the top end parts. So we'll get on to the next job. Huh?
Yeah. So,
I'm filming. Ha! There's G-Love. Oh, that's okay. There's G-Love. What up, G-Love?
G-Love.
So guys,
hey, before you get started, this is DBJ, Dirt Bike Junkie. Don't forget.
Absolutely. You guys can all call me that. I don't care. It's awesome. So I just packed that other muffler, and we were looking at the inside core of that, and now I'm actually working on my own muffler for the 125. Look how much smaller those holes are. So I don't know. It seems silly that they're that small. So I'm going to try something, and I'm kind of wondering if those being small made them kind of fill up faster and then spooge earlier. Anyway, I don't know. But it seems silly. It also seems like I could get more sound deadening and all that good stuff if I open those up. So I don't want to spend my entire life drilling out a whole bunch of them, but I got a bigger drill bit. I'm going to drill a whole bunch of holes in these little holes and open this up a bunch, and then I'll report back if it changes anything about the way it sounds or does anything. I'll let you guys know, but I'll check back in when I get it done so you see what it looks like. Alright guys, so that's all I did. I don't know if that's going to make any difference at all, but yeah, we'll see. Might drain that drool into the packing a little bit better so it can come out the end. I don't even know, but whatever. It's just something I thought about after seeing the other one. So yeah, gonna go ahead and pack this, wrap it up, put it in the silencer, put it back on the bike, and then we'll get on to the next actual paying job. Alright guys, so still waiting on the parts on the 85. They should hopefully be here this morning. Still waiting for UPS to show up. But right now I'm going to do a little work on my 300 because I'm going to ride it tonight for Thursday night ride. And for the last little bit it's been creaking when I bounce up and down on it. I think it is the lower hind joint. So I'm going to show you guys how we replace those things. It's actually super easy if you have the right tool. So I'm going to set you down and we're going to pull that shock out of the way just so it's easy. One thing I love about PDS shocks is that they are really easy to remove and get out of the way. Alright guys, we got the parts for the top end. Oh, and by the way, so here's something I learned. I was just, I was going to tell you that I was going to change that lower shock bearing on my 300 over there. And I got the things out of the way and all that stuff, and I grabbed a new bearing. Anyway, turns out that in 17, they changed the rear shock bearing on those bikes, and I don't have one. That's okay. I super duper greased that thing up. It's going to get me through another ride or so. I ordered 2, so I make sure I have one in stock. But yeah, anyway, really annoying. I don't know why they would change that, what it would need to be different about it for 17, because it's still just this PDF. Anyway, that's a bummer, but that happens. And I guess I've never changed one. It turns out that the tool that I have is also not going to work, so I got to get a new like bearing driver for that style shock, or link it anyway. What bearing, PDS lower shock bearing. Anyway, so yeah, it's okay. We're still gonna ride at this tonight in the super gnarly stuff in the Thursday night ride. So make sure if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe so you see those Thursday night rides. I'll put a link up here for Thursday night ride playlist. We ride every Thursday night here during the summer, and tonight should be a good one. Lots of rocks. Anyway, got the parts for the 85, so let's put this thing together. I would love to be able to just edit out what I'm getting ready to tell you, because I'm super duper frustrated, but I just have to explain something. So the 85 will not be going together in this week's Shlog, and here is the reason why. It is a 2019, and when I looked up the parts, that's why, like, the kit that I had was like up to 17 or something like that. Anyway, it didn't work, so I got online. I looked up a 19 on Vertex's website, came up with a part number. Part number was VTK24212B-2. So I took that number, I put it into Takaraki's website and hit search. It came up with a Takaraki number, Vertex piston kit. Now, I'm not blaming Takaraki. I will take full blame on myself for not looking closely. But anyway, I said, okay, I'll take it. I hit the send overnight button for free, blah, blah, blah. It shows up. I assume it's right. I take it apart, blah, huh. As you're seeing or saw, I was ready to put it together. Grabbed the base gasket. And it was wrong. It was just like the one that I had. And so I went back to Takaraki's website. I was like, well, I must have done something wrong. Looked, well, when you enter the correct part number from Vertex, it comes up with the wrong part number with Takaraki. Only one option. It comes up with the VTK2421B-1, which is the previous version of this engine. I should have checked closer and looked closer at it, but when I put that in, look here, let me show you what it does. Just so you guys know, I don't know, maybe someone's watching this who's a parts manager or a service manager or something like that, and you might want to see something. So here is the website. We're gonna paste, there it is. There is the correct part number, and we're gonna come over here, hit the search, and it comes up. And look, there's only one part number, you know, one here. They have some available, right? Okay, so I ordered it. But when we come in tight, there's the problem. And they don't even list as an option. They don't even list as an option the right part number. So, like I said, I'm taking full blame. I'm not blaming Takaraki. I'm not blaming Vertex, nothing, because I don't do that. But it is very frustrating. I should have looked closer. Turns out no one on earth has that part number in stock. Vertex doesn't have it in stock, nothing. So I just ordered the OEM gaskets from KTM, even though it's a Husqvarna, you know, whatever. I ordered them from my local dealer. I'm going to get them in here right, but it's going to be next week. I'm super frustrated. It's like, just, anyway, part of my struggles, right? Part of the Shlog. You guys have always said you want to see the struggles, and like, not, it doesn't always go well here. So that's one thing that didn't go well. Look, I love it too. It's like, search results for that comes up with that. Anyway, whatever. No big deal. Fortunately, they're not in a hurry, so we're all okay. But it is anyway. So on to the next thing. I gotta, like, this is a so this is a day because no shock bearing for my bike. No big deal. Like I said, the shock, it's not completely blown out. Now the 85. Anyway, guys, life doesn't always go exactly as you plan. As I'm sure you all know. But tonight is going to be awesome because we're going to go ride and it's going to be rad. And I got the 300 running really good. I did change the jetting a little bit. I just dropped the needle, so I raised the clip one on that. So I think that should clean up that little bit of stutter that it had. Yeah, anyway, on to the next job. What I'm going to do is oil and air filter. I think I've shown how I do this on here, but it bears repeating since a lot of people don't do it right. So I like the Bel Ray liquid stuff because you just get better coverage than you do with the spray. You can get good coverage with the spray, but it just takes a lot of it and a lot of time. So anyway, got some oil down in there. Gonna take our filter, dunk it. Now comes the part that's important, is we got to get that oil out of there so that it's not too much. But here's the thing, a little too much oil is way better than not enough oil or no oil, which is what it seems like everybody does these days. So just take it, you massage it in there really well, and then you take it over here, make sure that you're getting oil on all the parts, really squeeze it in there, and you can see, I think you guys can see, let's see how it like stringy. That's what you want sticky oil. That's why you don't use motor oil, because it just drains out. That's also why I don't use, personally I don't like no toil. It's just not as sticky, doesn't catch as much junk. So that's getting close. I just want to see a nice consistent color through all of it. There we go, it's getting there. And yeah, it takes a little while. It's a little bit messy to do it this way, but seriously, how much is the engine on your $10,000 motorcycle worth? I can tell you exactly. It's about $3,500 if you have to replace all of it on a 4-stroke. So a lot less on a 2-stroke, but it's still terribly expensive. So awesome. I like that. That looks good. So now take our cage with our cool little air filter disc to protect it, and doink. And some of you guys might be going, well, where's this yellow pokey one? I thought he liked those yellow pokey ones. Well, I do like the yellow pokey ones. It's actually what I just took out of the bike. But it is currently drying right now from washing it, and yeah, I have lots of filters, so I'm just going to use this one. So on this bike, this is for my 300, I don't grease this lip because I have one of the Pro Seal setups in there, but normally I take some grease and put it on there, but this also has plenty of oil around here to help seal it, but that Pro Seal does really seem to make it seal really good. So right there, guys, that is what you're looking for. Nice consistent blue or red or whatever color oil. So I'm gonna go install this thing, and then we'll get on to another job. Ooh, guys, we might get to catch Zach in some real anger because he's changing mini bike tires, because that's what I make him do. Because he deserves it. Because he's a terrible human. And filled with anger. Yes! So good. Oh, there's a part of my soul that is so happy watching someone else change mini bike tires. That's just glorious. And the mail guy's here, so I got something to show you guys here in just a second. Alright, guys, so mail time just happened, and I've got a lovely RK Tech head. Not for me, it's for a customer with a TPI bike. But I want to take this moment to really show you guys the big difference between an S3 head, which is the Slavin's Mule head, whatever. It's just an S3 head, by the way. Jeff does not build those heads. He doesn't have them built. He buys them and sells them. He's a great salesman. The S3 head is a fine head for if you want to just bump compression, but I'm going to show you a big difference. Alright guys, so there's the RK head. Beautiful piece of machinery. There's a lot going on here, so hang on. Let's take a look. This is a stock head from a 300. This is from my 300, I think. And so there you go. Stock 300, normal compression, all that. I've showed you guys this before. Very radiused edge right here, very deep dome, quite a bit of room between the deck and the start of the squish band. There's that. Here is the RK head. Obviously a lot less distance between the deck and the squish, and then a very different shaped dome and a very different shaped squish band. Here is the S3 head, and so you can see right here, obviously they've got a very small different distance between the deck and the squish band. Fair enough. The squish band is pretty narrow, which is good. But then you can see this hard edge, like really hard edge, and then a really deep dome, which is not going to make for a very efficient combustion chamber because it's too deep. They raised the compression, but they didn't really fix this part of the head. So yes, it's a hard edge there, which is closer to the RK Tech, but then it's like a completely flat, like straight down in and then flat across the, anyway, this is not a very efficient way to build a head. It's gonna have better compression than a stock one, but it's not really gonna be that much of a benefit. Obviously it is a swappable dome, that's great, but you can see that the way this whole thing's designed, it's just, I don't know, it's relatively inexpensive. It's all cast, done. Okay, great. Take the RK, open it up. Look at that. That is a billet piece of aluminum that's been machined to be a different, completely different shape. They've got these right here. You can see on this dome, this marking right here, those milling marks really help to radiate heat away from the motor and into the coolant that's then moving, through here, and helps the bike run at a way lower temp. Now, some people are saying, oh, we could cold seize it. You could, like, first of all, that ain't happening on a dirt bike unless you're just a moron. But also, you're not going to cold seize a bike that's running, at 80, 90, 100 degrees temperature, and two-strokes in general really like to be cool. They like to run better when they're cool. So there's the difference, guys. Like, stock obviously is stock, it's fine, whatever. But if you're looking for an upgrade, if you're really wanting to make more power, better performance, the reason this one is so much less expensive, you can see. It's clear why it's so much less expensive. It's a more mass-produced part. It's all cast. It's whatever. Obviously, this is an older one. It's faded or whatever. They come obviously a little shinier orange, but this is just not that great of a part. I mean, again, it's an improvement over stock, but not much. Whereas this one that costs more money is clearly a work of art. And Kelsey is not paying me to say this. He only gave me the two heads to do reviews on. I'm purchasing all these other heads. I mean, this one's for a customer. I just shipped one to New Mexico. I'm gonna buy one for my YZ 250. I'm gonna pay him to reshape the 125 head. Yeah, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. If you really want performance, get an RK Tech head. They're just better. That's all there is to it. So, all right, guys. So you just got done watching me service my air filter, and it's perfect timing because Mr. Sheets here has a YZ 250 on the lift. We're putting a whole motor in, and weren't 100% sure about why it needed the whole engine anyway. So we decided it's time to take it apart. Probably gonna have to send the cylinder out, but check this out. So that is a dry, horrible anyway, and here is the result. Look at that carburetor. That's disgusting, and that goes into the motor, right in there. So that is why I scream all the time about servicing your air filter, doing it right, getting plenty of oil on it, all this stuff. it blows things up. So after seeing that, I'm now feeling very sure that the cylinder is going to need to go out and get replated because, yeah, that thing's going to be scoured. Probably shiny, shiny, shiny. So, yeah. Anyway, air filters, people. Air filter, air filter, air filter. Every time you even think about it, service your air filter. Mr. Sheets, I'm making him suffer today because he was late to work. Because he had a dentist appointment. A dentist appointment, maybe. I don't know what he was doing. He was flying airplanes, most likely. But, so I'm making him change Chinese tires. And that's what you get at Highland Cycles when you pull stunts like that. So yeah. Oh, here. This is a good one for the Shlog fans. The reason I don't like Chinese stuff, so this is an Apollo, whatever. It's a Honda copy thing. Anyway, whatever. And they're fine. They're cheap. You ride them until they break, and you usually just chuck them. But he had a flat tire, and he ordered a wheel. I don't know why he did that. Like, he ordered a whole wheel. It's probably cheap. Wheel showed up, didn't fit because the hub was different. Surprise, surprise. He also ordered a seat, and you can see how that turned out. It turned out really good. So, that right there, folks, this is one of the many reasons I don't deal with off-brand stuff. It is ridiculous. But his next job is cool. He's doing fork seals on a Super Chicken, which those are really cool. I love those bikes. Those things are awesome. And, yeah, so he's going to do that, and then I'm going to make him ride wheelies in front of all of you. Anyway, it's the end of the week. It's the end of the Shlog. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Maybe hit the subscribe button. That'd be cool, I guess. But mainly, we want you to get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and we desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on and get out and ride your dirt bikes!